So apparently the game wants me to stay informed. Arc data file 103. February 2043. Earth found itself faced with disaster, brought about by a meteor impact that opened the gates to the astral plane. Matter, the likes of which Earth has never seen, leaks through the gate as a toxic miasma, twisting everything it touches, eventually beyond recognition. We have come to call this process redshift. At the current rate, redshift poses a very significant threat to our species. Not a word of this came as a surprise to me, and yet I had thus far been powerless to stop it. I must confess, my judgment at the time was clouded. Of course, the game decides to... Thanks, OBS. The prophets who find the future written in the past, they sought me out for my research after all. We share an interest, human evolutionary potential. They had much to tell me about the true history of our species. They say that humankind flourishes now like it has twice before. The previous two times it met with utter ruin, weighed in the balance and found wanting. Gates present a third such test. Not that I took these prophets at their literal word, not at first, however. After all, their means are not scientific. However, even I cannot deny that all they foretold came to pass. I pledged them to my species. They would do all in my power to stop this extinction to save humankind. And they told me, build an ark. At their guidance, I gathered a considerable staff and constructed a new home where humankind found refuge from what might have been our doom. It has been an arduous undertaking, far beyond even myself. But luckily, I now have allies that I can trust to the grave. Now is the time for us to greet our future together. Excerpt from Dr. Joseph Calvert's collected notes, per Aspera ad Arcum. All of these are this long. Oh boy. Got some reading to do. Megafloat Arc operational. In the early morning hours of Thursday, July 23rd, 2043, construction on the artificial island known as the Ark was finally completed. The Ark represents the combined efforts of all nations to protect humanity from the threat of corruption from the Gates. Representatives of the Interim Union world government say they hope to begin welcoming residents as soon as possible. As of this writing, the Ark is moored offshore near Valparaiso, Chile. Elected residents, having cleared checks for data corruption, boarded Union patrol boats to make the first step towards their new homes this morning. The Ark will cease accepting new residents at 3 p.m. and prepare for the voyage to its permanent location far out into the Pacific Ocean, where experts say corruption will never reach. The Union will resume accepting new residents once the Ark is in position, according to one Union official. He added that interested citizens should refer to Union notices for further information. Newspaper excerpt July 24th, 2043. Gates to a new scientific renaissance. Easy though it is to assume that the Gates bring nothing but disaster to our planet, such an assumption disregards the tremendous technological advancements they've made possible. One of these advancements is the Expiton, a portable weapon, which reminds me I need to upgrade mine. A portable weapon of unparalleled flexibility, now standard issue for our police force. Thorough research into the Gates has led to whole new fields of scientific study, particularly the exciting field of astral dynamics. We've even been able to harness some of the astral spark, the energy given off by the Gates, and turn it towards human ends. The Expiton itself is one such end. Powered as it is by the astral spark, the Expiton can affect the Gates in ways conventional weapons cannot. With enough force, it can even be used to destroy Gates, closing them for good. Our police carry considerable extra-dimensional power in the palms of their hands. This is but one of the ways we have learned to turn the power of the Gates themselves to our own advantage. Excerpt from Dr. Joseph Calvert's collected notes, per Aspera ad Arcum. Anti-redshift medication. The Union government began distributing new anti-redshift medications to citizens of the Ark on March 1st, 2058. This comes as a response to an uptick in markedly severe cases of redshift, believed to be caused by greater concentrations of corruption in the environment following recent gate appearances. Medicine, developed by a team of specialists at the Aegis Research Institute, may reduce the effects of exposure to gate miasma by up to 8% with one weekly dose. However, the ARI warns that they cannot guarantee similar effectiveness in cases of direct contact with aberrations. Newspaper excerpt from March 2nd, 2058. ARC Zone 09 Residual Corruption Examination Report. Aegis Research Institute Counter. Corruption Department Head. April 27th, 2078. Goals of the examination: to determine levels of data corruption still present in Zone 09 20 years after the pandemic, and the feasibility of lifting quarantine. Examination period: 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. April 20th through 23rd, 2078. Equipment used: Integrated Reality Imaging System, IRIS. Staff: Examination Leader, redacted. Okay. Result of the examination: 63 locations within 500 square meters of Zone 9 were flagged to indicate high amounts of corruption. These locations present a particularly high risk of dimensional instability, and examination staff visually confirm the presence of several gates. Chance of chimeric invasion in these locations is 5 times higher than that in Grand Avenue, one of the areas outside of the exclusion zone most susceptible to chimeric attack. A previous inspection conducted 10 years prior found 49 such areas. The results of this inspection suggest that the level of corruption within Zone 9 is indeed increasing over time. It is unknown whether the deposits of red matter found within Zone 9 have remained there since the pandemic, or whether they are new deposits. Tests on samples have thus been inconclusive. These results suggest that Zone 9 is in no way ready for the quarantine to be lifted. We suggest continuing to observe the conditions in the zone remotely while working towards an effective decontamination solution. People on the rooftops. Have you heard rumors of the people called the Uppers? Supposedly they make their homes in illegal squats on the tops of buildings in the quarantine zone 09. Whether it's true or just a figment of popular imagination, who can say? Not even the police are allowed to make routine rounds in the zone, which was put under quarantine by the Union government after the pandemic. The question must be asked: who would willfully gather and live in an area known for dangerous levels of corruption? Who are these Uppers? The Union holds that any living person found in the quarantine zone is a trespasser from outside the zone and a potential danger to public safety. Some rumors suggest that the Uppers are actually survivors, or descendants of survivors, of the pandemic, left to rebuild after the Union walled off the zone. Supposing that were true, though, that means the Union may have left uncorrupted survivors behind to fend for themselves against the dangers of the pandemic. Could it be true? One thing's for sure: when it comes to the Uppers, there's no shortage of questions, and very few answers. Quarantine. Cases for and against. Arc Zone 9 was once a populous residential district, an easy place to live, with both work and leisure near at hand. It remained that way for 15 years when the Arc's worst nightmare came true. Uncountable numbers of civilians in Zone 9 redshifted in a very short time in what became to be called the pandemic. Still the largest disaster in the history of the Arc. The Arc's designers were prepared for this possibility and had a system in place to prevent heavy corruption from spreading from zone to zone. Zone 9 was swiftly sealed off from the surrounding areas with heavy quarantine walls. Luckily, the Zone 9 pandemic is the only time the Union has found it necessary to use these walls. Thanks to these walls, zones that neighbor 09 show no that neighbor Zone 09 show no significantly higher levels of corruption than zones further away. In that regard, the walls are a vital part of public safety on the Arc. But on the other hand, independent sources suggest that survivors of the pandemic may remain alive in Zone 9, redshift free, but sealed off from the outside Arc by the very same walls. If they're in there, the Union does not acknowledge them, will not open the wall. If these rumors are true, they implicate the Union government in a wild-scale cover-up. One hopes to believe that in erecting the walls around Zone 9, the Union exercised their better judgment for the good of the Arc. All on the Arc are subject to their rule. Let us hope it is a benevolent and honest rule. Indeed. Watch out for hackers. A note from the Arc Police. Reports of damages caused by a hacker group calling themselves the Hermits are increasing throughout the Arc. We in the ARC Police vow to expand our investigations into hacker activities until the individuals responsible are brought to justice. We ask that all citizens take great care in their use of all electronic devices and computer networks. Be sure to change your personal passwords often, especially those tied to banking services. Be warned, hermits are prepared to use any manner of trickery to acquire your personal information. A skilled hacker can steal your password and commandeer your information in a matter of seconds. Signs you may be under hacker attack. You find records of bank withdrawals you don't remember making. Credit card and cash chip histories show unexplained transactions. You receive receipts from delivery orders you don't remember placing. You find your cash chip suddenly unusable. If you have evidence that could be useful in investigations against the hermits, contact the ARC Police at Redacted right away. Please do not attempt to contact the police via electronic mail because the hermits may be reading it right now. ARC Police Public Dispatch number 3495. Alright, so there's that. Duty reports. Duty reports. February 18th, 2077. Is this report really necessary? More practice with the big puppet today. Hooray! Maximilian Howard. It's been half a year and I still can't get the damn thing to obey orders. Commander says psychological resonance or some such nonsense is necessary, and that's why we've got to be chained to it. No idea what it even wants, though. I should give up. I have more luck getting my kids to do what I say than this thing. Maybe I should start thinking of the thing as an ornery kid or something. Couldn't be any less effective than what I'm doing now. I'll give that a shot tomorrow. March 4th, 2078. Case reports. C00012. Status closed. Investigation log filed. Log ID C00012 underscore NJ002 underscore 030478. Summary. Disposal of one humanoid chimera and 4 civilian aberrations in Grand Avenue, Zone 36. Officers involved: Max Howard, Jin Wong, and Alicia Lopez. Paperwork was properly filed and authorization granted prior to the disposal of the aberrations. Captain Howard handled the disposal of all targets. Due to a malfunction in Captain Howard's log apparatus during action, no direct log remains. However, we were able to requisition footage from surrounding security cameras. This footage is submitted in lieu of a formal log. We were unable to confirm a dramatic increase in corruption in the area and thus withdrew, leaving decontamination to the cleanup crew. Beyond the 4 aberrations, no civilian injuries are recorded. Captain Howard was lightly injured in the conflict, but no more than he usually is. Notes: we could really use more officers capable of responding to incidents like this one. I'm aware that the issue is one of control, namely our inability to control the legions beyond stopping them from going berserk. Also aware that even that is a fairly recent development. Officer Wong has made more progress than the rest of us in accurately guiding his legion. Maybe I should pay more attention to the captain's training. If nothing else, I'll try to stay out of the way and not make anything worse. Skip all that nonsense. See, blah blah blah, status closed, investigation log, blah blah blah. Summary. Arrest of 2 Hermits gang members in the act of vandalizing an ATM. Officers involved: Alicia Lopez and Billy Williams. William Williams was involved. 2 conventional police officers were injured by the suspects before Neuron arrived. 1 officer suffered a fractured right tibia. The other received several surface wounds and expects to recover in 1 week. Another case: pursuit and arrest of 1 Hermits gang member engaged in Grand Theft Auto. Officers involved: Alicia Lopez. I performed the arrest following search support from police headquarters. With consideration to the surrounding area, I tailed the suspect to Zone 21.RD2547-16 before forcing the stolen car to a stop with electromagnetic disruptor round. Suspect's erratic driving during the attempted getaway caused multiple accidents across several zones. Luckily, no civilians were injured. LT-083 status transferred to outside jurisdiction. Investigation log filed, blah 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 blah. Summary: missing property investigation. No chimeric activity could be confirmed in the course of the investigation. So I handed the case over to the Zone 36 precinct to treat as a normal case. Officers involved: Alicia Lopez. Notes: Though most previous reports of hermit activity only involved computer-related crimes, recently we've had more and more reports of their involvement in direct and even violent criminal activity. The change is cause for concern. Conventional police are completely unable to keep up with the hermits, and they give even us in Neuron trouble. We should investigate the source of their newfound strength before they get any bolder. This may even warrant an investigation into their supposed base of operations in Zone 9. I don't know if I know those passwords. Happy Christmas Eve. What do you know? It's Christmas Eve. But chimeras don't celebrate Christmas, so Neuron can't take the night off to soak in the holiday season either. And old Lappy's right here with you. Why, I can't think of a better way to spend the holidays than hunkering down here in the office with all of you. There's no present nicer than a job well done, right? Right? But it is Christmas after all, so I made cookies. I know last year's weren't exactly the tastiest. Who could forget Joey's hilarious impression of a guy vomiting? But I've been working on my recipe, and I think this batch is perfect. Can't wait until you're all back so I can spread some Christmas cheer. Don't you worry if you didn't get Lappy anything. Your smiling face is the only present I need, even yours, Joey. Sincerely yours, Lappy. Last one. Activity report, civilian seminar. Location, ARC Police Headquarters. And floor, date, December 25th, 2077. How you can avoid redshift. Summary, unfortunately, not many people attended. Maybe it was the date. Let's say it was an intimate conversational environment. The usual crowd of old folks showed up to share some of their hard-earned wisdom. All in all, I'd call the seminar a success. I went over how to tell whether an area is dangerously corrupted or not, and what to do if you think you're starting to redshift, and most of the audience listened. Note, Lappy was not present for this lecture. In other news, I can't help but notice that nobody ate any of Lappy's Christmas cookies last night. He told me he got so tired following you all around the office with a plate full of cookies that he just plain overheated. A lot of running around for a dog like Lappy to do in the middle of summer. Lappy asked me to thank Captain Max, the one-kind soul with enough Christmas spirit to stop for a cookie. Lappy went ahead and let him have everyone else's, too. If he missed out, well, maybe next year. Thought I'd ask him how they tasted, but he doesn't seem to be here today. He must have one of those Christmas summer colds going around the Ark. But don't worry, Lappy's already whipped up some more sweets for him, since he liked the last ones so much. Oh, Marie. Okay. I have read all of the data. Let us exit. Move on to File 6. Complicit.
Hey, is now a good time? Come find me on the roof. I need to talk to you.
Sure. Alright, I can go... No, not locker room. How do I need to do this? 10,000? Oh, I got plenty. Okay. Yeah, upgrade that shit. Do it again? This is what you spend money on. Kind of wondering about that, to be honest. Let's get the Legatus leveled up. Do it again. Alright. I have sufficiently spent money on shit I probably don't need. That's okay. What you got for me in a shop? Stuff I don't need. Alright, cool. Not enough I gotta keep an eye on all of you guys. I have to think up new training methods too. What, you think I'm gonna let old Jin have all the fun? So many cases popping up these days, it pays to be ready for anything, physically and mentally. Training's vital, but I'm so tired. Please, let me rest. Ooh, what is this? Found gunner drone. What? From my understanding, chapter 6 is where the game really starts to pick up. There's also a halfway point, so we'll see. As of right now, this game is just okay. Far from great. Far from being bad. It's just okay. Hey, Billy Williamson. Willie? Oh, what up, pal?
I finished analyzing the data card we got from you-know-who, and I found something you might want to hear about.
Interesting.
The data was set up with some heavy-duty encryption, but I managed to crack it. Inside, I found some lab documents, along with some map data, and then a bunch of links to news sites to top it all off. They look like results from a series of drug tests. All the same drug, too. The documents are from the Aegis Research Institute, so I assume the drug in question is a project of theirs. If I had to guess, I'd say Jenna took the documents along with the Legion Corps when she attacked the lab. But why? Pharmaceuticals are admittedly beyond my realm of expertise. But as far as I can tell, this drug has a lot in common with an anti-red shift drug the government supposedly made years ago. Everyone thought those drugs might save our whole species. But then the government stopped giving them out after the pandemic. They never officially said why, of course, but rumor has it the drugs and the pandemic were related. The drug in these documents has an extra chemical compound I can't ID, though. Hard to say what it does. All the links lead to reports about a case that the police and Neuron haven't been able to close. Something about a gang with near superhuman strength, calling themselves the Hermits. I wonder if it's the same Hermits. If so, the police are one thing, but I can't imagine why Neuron would have much trouble with them. They're only human. Either way, none of this sounds like the Hermits I know at all. I mean, they're hackers. Sort of a rob from the rich, give to the poor deal. Maybe a little shady, but I know they're decent guys. Or they were, at least. So, the question is, why did Jenna think we should see all these news links? It's a really detailed map of Zone 09. I know that's where you and Akira were born. It's been almost completely locked down for 20 years or so, since the pandemic. The government says the whole zone is still corrupted. It's basically condemned. But the map on the data card is really thorough. It had to have come from direct observation. It's especially detailed around one upper camp in particular, Sector 5. But why there? No matter how you look at it, Jenna is definitely trying to tell us something with this data card. I mean, she is a terrorist, so we can't exactly trust her. But quarantine or no, there's a lot of people still living in Zone 09. What'll happen to them if there's another incident? The government's not gonna help out, I can tell you that much. So, I've decided. I'm going in. Sector 5 means a lot to me. If something's going on there, I gotta know. There's nobody else I can trust with this. What am I gonna do? Hand the data over to the government and hope they handle it? They won't do anything for Zone 09. Oh, they'll say they'll look into it, file the card away somewhere, and that'll be it. Even Neuron officers are forbidden from entering Zone 09 without permission. If you got caught in there, they'd take your Legion away. They'd probably even arrest you. Or worse. I'll be fine. I bet I can get this drone in and out unnoticed. But if you really want to come, I could use the help.
What?
I'm kidding, of course. But seriously, if you really want to come, I could use the help. I do not know what might happen in there. Anyway, I better get going soon. No time like the present, right?
But he just told me.
And I mean, if you really, really want to help me out, head to Harmony Square. I'll put a beacon out for you to follow when you get there. I'll wait up for you. Just for a little while, though.
But he just told me that I am forbidden from going, and that if I do go, I could be imprisoned or worse. And I don't know what worse is. What does worse mean? Does it mean I die? Does it mean the government kills me? I think it means the government kills me. Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. I should have saved.